Welcome, everyone. The inspiration for the week ahead is about harvesting the fruit of our hard labor, of our actions. And it's in the sense of, you know, how sometimes you have many projects that are ripe for completion and we just need to see them through, but we hesitate or we think, oh, well, maybe not this, maybe that, or maybe that, or maybe that, and we end up not doing anything as a result. So it's actually inaction or hesitation that is preventing the harvest. So the message, the overall message for the coming week is to remember that you have put effort into several areas of your life, not just one, and maybe a direct business project or something that you have worked on for a while, such as seminars or lectures or, teachings, presentations to give that you can share, but you just need to see them through. And once you do, they will bring the fruit, the prosperity, the abundance that you are looking for. But it can also mean more broadly the inner work, the work you've been doing on yourself. And sometimes it's difficult to see how far you've got or how many seeds you've planted, because it seems, oh, nothing has changed. Well, it is not true. Once the seeds have been planted and they are taking root. So now is the time to harvest. It's an invitation to shift the attitude from planting, collecting, eating, gathering, inhaling, consuming, to putting into practice. And this often applies to us as spiritual seekers in the sense that, well, our path is very often the path of learning. And that's part of the mission, part of the work we're doing in this lifetime. It is to learn and to continue growing and evolving and, in a sense, accumulating new things. But it's very easy to burn out and to just want to give up if that information is not shared, if that learning is not put into teaching. So eventually, for every spiritual seeker, the path opens to become a teacher, small scale or large scale. Maybe it's one-on-one, maybe it's teaching classes or meditations or whatever it is. But unless that information is shared, nothing happens, nothing grows. It grows, but it will start consuming and it will destroy some part of you eventually. So it's this message that, well, fruit needs to be harvested. When it's ripe for the taking, you actually have to take action to gather the fruit. Otherwise it will, if you've grown apples and you don't gather them, well, they will just fall on the ground and rot and be eaten by animals and worms and whatnot. So it is this process of harvesting, yes, one last effort before the fruit of your labors can be enjoyed. So if you have a business idea or a teaching idea or project idea that you've been working on, the message is to put it into action, to actually see it through to completion. You have already everything that you need. Don't hesitate. Don't think that you need to learn something more, to gather something else, or that, oh, it's not fully done yet. Well, it is ready. You've been planting and seeding and growing for a long time, so it's ready, but you just need to see it through to completion. The fruit is already ripe for the taking. Sometimes we like to sit on our idea, and it's normal. Everything needs some gestation time and preparation time. But now the message is, okay, it's ready. Just go, put it into practice. It may be a book, it may be a course, it may be a business project, it may be, I don't know, I want to paint my balcony, or I want to paint the wall, whatever it is. But it's ready when it's prepared. Now is the time to act, because it will not complete itself by itself. So there is that effort that is needed to gather, to actually harvest the fruit. And the overall spirit of the week is the gardener. It is about gardening. It is about planting seeds and harvesting fruit, and seeing yourself as the gardener of your life, whether it is in a spiritual sense or whether it is in a very specific, concrete sense, even perhaps in the actual gardening, doing the garden work. And metaphysically speaking, the gardener is also the protector, of the guardian of the divine feminine. Someone who works with the soil and with the magic of harvest. Because it is magic when a seed falls into the soil and is gestated in darkness, just like we are in the womb in darkness, in the invisible for 9 months, and then we emerge into reality. It's magic. It's right. We are somewhere invisible, and then suddenly we become visible. So metaphysically speaking, gardening is magical, and by extension this also implies working with the magic of manifestation and abundance. It is employing visualizations or affirmations, working with crystals or earth to draw in what you need, what will help you, what will assist you. So this is very much a harvest theme on many different levels, whichever may apply to you at this particular moment, at this stage on your path. And so the only block, the only thing that is stopping you is your own hesitation, or maybe fear of taking action. Oh, what if it's not ready? Well, no, the message is it's ready. So go harvest. It's ready. And what you've been preparing for is ready to be harvested as well. So if you're thinking of a course to put out, then it looks like the material is ready. So just sit down and put it out. The invitation is there, and it's ripe for the taking. And it's more of a small scale ripe for the taking message. So I see it as a very practical invitation, for this week, to see what have I been preparing for in the last few months or few weeks that is ripe for the taking. Perhaps I read a book and now I'm ready to put out a small course on it, or I have been preparing something that I can now put into practice, or I worked on a project that I can implement, so I can take that step, because it's the pathway of manifestation that is opening this week. So we have an idea, we have a gestation, so basically that baby is ready to be born, but it takes some effort, right? There is some push, and there is also fear. So that fear is going to be there in the coming week, but it's enough to just realize it's resistance to change. It's not a fear of, the fear that maybe the best way to put it is, don't be afraid to harvest, because your fear is only resistance. It's not how to explain it. Like, sometimes you have a premonition, oh, this is a bad thing to do. So it's not that fear, it's the fear of resistance, not the fear of premonition. It's not it's not guarding you against something, but it's your own resistance that is coming up. So this fear is a block, not a premonition. There is no mistake to be made. You just need to make steps. And resistance is a huge thing, right? Because when something new is ready to emerge, we feel it. Our systems are built in a way that is resistant to change. We naturally go back to default, because structure and tradition and stability is what makes us feel safe. It is difficult to constantly change, and it's most certainly very difficult to burst something into new life, into reality, whether literally or metaphorically, whether you're birthing a book or birthing a baby. It's hard. It's hard work. It's painful. And that is the process of manifestation. So we can't expect everything to align just perfect, because sometimes I think we have the illusion that, oh, no, I just have to wait until there is no resistance and no challenges, and then it will be perfect and it will kind of just be burst by itself. Well, that's not how it usually happens. Maybe sometimes, yes, but there needs to be some effort. And I don't mean those situations when we are banging our heads against the wall, when the door is just, 2 feet to the left or to the right. But it's rather, look at what is already within you. Look what is already ripe, what is already ready to be born, where you are just not acting, are afraid of putting it into reality. It can be something very small or very big. So now it's time. That pathway of manifestation has opened, and it's ripe for the taking. And resistance is a part of change. It is as normal as, I don't know, needing to drink water every day. Resistance is our companion. It actually shows us that, oh, something important is coming up. So just acknowledge this resistance as your friend. It's your guardian, in a sense that it is, it's trying to drag you back to default, because our energy system is built on inertia. There's those natural processes. If you've been doing something for 20 years, of course, the system just wants to repeat it. And that's how we learn. That's how our energy system learns, how our minds learn. So we learn something until it becomes automatic. That's how we live, basically. So it's perfectly normal. So when you want something new to emerge, of course, there will be resistance, because it needs to burst forth, to tear open some veils. So don't be afraid of resistance, but just think what you are ready to birth into new life this week, and go for it. Thank you very much for listening, and many blessings.